Welcome here for Punch Out Boxing. I'm delighted to be here with Andy Clarke, one of the foremost minds in boxing for the first time. That was quite stunning, weren't it? Sad, but stunning.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to describe it. Actually, it was. Everybody loves a knockout, and there's something about it when you see one, particularly with heavyweights. It takes your breath away. But the inconvenient truth about the knockout is that for someone to win by knockout, someone has to get knocked out, and it's a serious thing. You know, you see Joyce go down there, and this huge man who seemed so indestructible not that long ago, and then all of a sudden he's vulnerable. How does he come back from this? I don't know. I don't know. And that's what you're watching. You're watching somebody not just lose a fight, but maybe their kind of careers falling apart in front of your eyes. And it's what we come for to an extent. But then sometimes when you see it, you're almost watching it through your fingers.
Absolutely. Just spoke to Zhang's coach, Sean George, old school American coach, although he doesn't like me calling him that. But he made the point that first and foremost, it's about skills. You can't rely on a certain physical trait.
No, and I mean, Zhang's definitely got the skills. You know, you look at how nice and loose he is. He doesn't load up with that left hand or that right hook. You know, and it's a real simple 1-2 in a lot of ways because you throw the left hand if it doesn't really land, which it didn't for the knockout. You know, your body's coiled and in the right place to throw the right hook, and it's muscle memory. You know, they're not heat-seeking missiles. Those gloves. They're not always going to land, but you just let them go, and he's just got that fluidity to him that if one doesn't land, then maybe the other one will. And he's that relaxed, and he's got, the mechanics are all there basically, so that whenever he does land, it is hard and heavy. But he can throw for a heavyweight quite a lot of punches if he wants to. People talk about his gas tank, but I'm not sure we'll be talking about that too much after this because he is a massive handful for anyone. I mean, I wouldn't. No one's scared of anyone, but I can't think of any good reason why you would want to fight him if you're Fury, Usyk, Wilder, Joshua.
Is this? I can't. Is this a seminal moment in the history of the sport? Because he's not the real champ, but he's a step closer to becoming the first Asian heavyweight champ. That's quite a departure from the tradition of the sport.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, in China they've been looking for a big boxing star for a while. They thought they had one in Zhu Shiming, who's a double Olympic gold medalist. Top rank went to Macau probably about 10 years ago now, wasn't it? They tried to do show. Well, they did do shows there, but they were hoping to turn him into a massive star, and it didn't really work. And he was a lighter weight as well. But now they've got heavyweight, who's properly up at world level. Um, he's a big deal in China now. He signed this big deal with Under Armour, I'm hearing. He was a silver medalist. That's a while ago now, but he's got that Olympic pedigree. If they can get the Chinese sporting population or a fraction thereof behind him, who knows what could happen? And then all of a sudden, he could be the draw. People would be wanting to go over there to fight him because the money you might be able to generate through him could be absolutely eye-watering. Um, and it's great, isn't it? You just never really know what's gonna. You never really know what's gonna happen. I thought Joyce had a decent chance of turning it around tonight, so I just thought that he just couldn't. I thought that the April was a very poor performance from him, and I maybe didn't give Zhang quite enough credit because I don't think it was just a case that Joyce was awful that night. Uh, he was just made to look awful, and it happened again.
Yeah, we're seeing the evolution of this sport we love happen before our eyes. Just finally, because I know it's late and the roadies want us out. The decision to take this fight by Queensbury, is that one of the biggest blunders by a promotional outfit in years?
No, I don't know. It's. I mean, it would have been up to him ultimately, Joyce, whether he activated the rematch clause or not, and people generally do now. You can think of a few recently where, if you're thinking about it purely in boxing terms, it wasn't a good idea. Joshua going straight back in with Usyk in boxing terms wasn't a good idea. It would have been better if he kind of gone away and done what he's doing now before he boxed Usyk again. But obviously he was always going to take it. He had to, and I think Joyce probably felt like he had to as well, given his age, um, and he lost his place in the queue. How are you going to get that place back if you don't do it? So I kind of feel like he didn't really have a lot of choice. But going off the evidence of the first fight, it wasn't it was comprehensive, wasn't it? You know, we've seen quite a lot of rematches these days off the back of a really comprehensive result in the first fight, which in a way doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know, that's just what's been happening.
All right, Andy, pleasure speaking to you for the first time on camera, that is. I'm sure I'll see you again shortly.